So we all know the Indiana Pacers trade, right? And many people want the Indiana Pacers trade. Buddy Hield, Myles Turner. Many believe that that is the move that would make us a contender, that that's the trade that would put us over the top. Me, I'm not so sold on it, especially the way Anthony Davis is playing. Like, why would you want to take him away from center? Yes, it'd be nice to have another center that could just kind of alleviate and take some of the burden off of Anthony Davis, but you still want Anthony Davis playing a majority of the game at center, right? Like, you want somebody that can come in, play maybe 15 minutes a game at the center position, but for the most part, Anthony Davis, you want him there thriving. I mean, the dude just put up 55 points playing the center position. The game before that, he put up 44 points. Why would you want to change that, right? But many people still want to see the Pacers trade. The problem is the only way to get Buddy Hield and Myles Turner is to trade Russell Westbrook. And I just don't think that that is a positive at this point. I think Russell Westbrook, the way he's been able to adjust and the role that he's playing right now, it's so valuable for the Lakers. And it's really kind of one of the big driving forces to the Lakers' most recent success, right? They are 8-2 in their last 10 games. That is huge. They seem to be really turning the season around. We will see how the rest of this road trip goes. But what if the Lakers could get one of them, right? Buddy Hield, Myles Turner. Now, Buddy Hield, I think, would be more of like a need right now, a guy that can shoot the three ball, a spot-up shooter, kind of can make plays for himself a little bit. You don't want him doing too much. He's not a Kyrie or anything like that, but he's a guy that you can give the ball to. He can make a play or two here and there. Defensively, not very good, and the Lakers really need perimeter defense, which is a big problem. Or you could just go and get Myles Turner. Myles Turner has even came out and said, "Hey, come get me. Take a look at a trade. If I was the Lakers, I would take a look at me." So what if you could do a deal that gets you Myles Turner and also gets you a Buddy Hield replacement, but somebody that could be more valuable in many ways? Because yes, Buddy Hield in his shooting is great, but what if you could get a real 3-and-D guy? How would you do that? Now, I saw Lakers Nation when they were talking about the recent performance of Anthony Davis, and one of the things that Trevor Lane threw out was getting Myles Turner and Alec Burks, that he said that he saw somebody propose this deal, but he didn't really know how to get there. He'd have to actually go back and look. Well, I know exactly how you could get to that deal. Now, obviously, Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, they're the pieces that are going to be the primary part of this package. You're going to trade Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn, and the goal is to get pieces that can upgrade the roster. Even if it's not this deal, even if it's not Myles Turner and Alec Burks from the Detroit Pistons, you would be looking to go and get, maybe Pistons deal, Bojan Bogdanovic and like a Sadiq Bey, or maybe you just go get, a Myles Turner. Now, you don't need both Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn to get Myles Turner. So you need Patrick Beverley. That's the key. But Patrick Beverley and Juan Toscano-Anderson, or Patrick Beverley and, Damian Jones, both of those two additions actually meet the requirements necessary to go get Myles Turner. So then you could take Kendrick Nunn in another piece and go get Alec Burks, right? Who he is a 3-and-D veteran style player. He's a guy that many people have wanted him on the Lakers for a couple years now, right? I mean, he's even been linked to the Lakers on several occasions with several teams he's been on. And I do think that he would be a good fit, a more natural 3-and-D style player. He could play small forward. He could also play shooting guard, which would be a huge benefit, right? Like, you could even go Walker, Alec Burks, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and maybe like a Dennis Schroeder or an Austin Reeves, or something like that, or Myles Turner, right? If you went and got Myles Turner also. So he would be a nice little compliment. I mean, just imagine a starting five of like Walker, you have Alec Burks, you have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Myles Turner. That could be a very solid unit. You got shooting, you got defending, you got LeBron, you got Davis, you got Myles Turner. My big concern with the Buddy Hield to Myles Turner deal is like, who plays defense, right? Like, let's say your starting five is Walker, Buddy Hield, LeBron, Davis, and Myles Turner. Who plays perimeter defense? Now, interior-wise, you would be great. You would be fantastic. But you're putting so much pressure now on LeBron James and Walker to be like just elite defenders for a majority of the game. That's a lot of ask for those two players, right? Like that's tough to ask, especially LeBron James at 38 years old, to be the LeBron James that he's being right now. And oh yeah, by the way, you have to be the best defender night in and night out and guard the best perimeter player night in and night out, right? Like that's just a tough task to ask. But if you could basically swap Buddy Hield with Alec Burks, well, now you have a guy that can actually defend. He can defend on the perimeter, defend on the wing. You have Walker who can defend on the perimeter, defend on the wing. LeBron James. Now you have Anthony Davis and Myles Turner down low for that support. It'd be really nice. So basically the way that you get there is, again, you'd add Damian Jones and JTA. And so you would go JTA and Kendrick Nunn would go to the Detroit Pistons. Now, the beauty of it also is Alec Burks is not going to cost as much as Buddy Hield, right? So Alec Burks is going to probably cost maybe 2 seconds. You could probably get him for. So now you're taking 1 first. You're going and getting Myles Turner. You're taking 2 seconds and you're going and getting Alec Burks. So it'd be JTA and Kendrick Nunn going to the Detroit Pistons, right, along with 2 seconds. That gets you Alec Burks, and then you would take Damian Jones and Patrick Beverley along with a first-round pick, and that would get you Myles Turner. Here's the other thing, too, and this is where things kind of get tricky. The concern is now they have to go get some players to kind of fill out the roster because they right now have 14 players, right? And you're basically doing a 2-for-4 swap. So now the Lakers would have to look at other guys. So maybe you go look at a Mo Harkless now, right? Maybe you go look at maybe a Whiteside because you're trading Damian Jones for Myles Turner. Maybe you just have him for like some backup, play some spot minutes here and there, give Davis some rest. Or maybe you could go like Tony Snell, right? So maybe have a player like that. But now you could take a risk. You could take a chance. You basically are unloading all of your dead weight, right? Because right now, the 4 guys that are dead weight are JTA, Damian Jones, Kendrick Nunn, and Patrick Beverley, right? So you're basically cutting your dead weight. You're getting 2 rotation players to add to the other guys you got. At that point, any other production from anybody else is good. So now maybe you could bring up some of your G League guys, right? Maybe you could bring up, 1 or 2 guys. Maybe you could bring up like a Scottie Pippen, or maybe you bring up a Cole Swider. I got to see how his health is currently. I know he was dealing with some health issues. Like I think he had like foot injury or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe you could bring some of those guys up to kind of get a little run, get a little burn in. But ideally, this move, you're going all in. You're pushing the chips to the table to try to go win a championship. So I'd imagine they go look at some of the vets that are on the market, right? Maybe at that point you do look at a DeMarcus Cousins, right? Just get some size, a guy that can, just bang down low. He just wants to be in the league. So if he has a bunch of DMPs, it's not a big deal. You can have him play in spots, 5 minutes, 10 minutes here and there, stuff like that. Maybe go get, like I said, a Mo Harkless. You got another sizable 3-and-D wing. Maybe he could be a guy that can kind of come in and play that like Stanley Johnson role. That could be pretty nice. But it just gives you options. So again, you'd have JTA and you'd have Kendrick Nunn. They go to Detroit. You would have Damian Jones and Patrick Beverley. They would go to the Pistons or to the Pacers, right? Along with the first round pick, and then 2 seconds would go to Detroit, and then that would get you Alec Burks and Myles Turner. And I personally think this is better than Buddy Hield and Myles Turner, just because I think Alec Burks gives you so much more flexibility. I think he gives you the defense, he gives you shooting. He gives you a little bit of playmaking, nothing major, but a guy that can, he can do a little bit with the basketball. He gives you a guy that can play multiple positions, guard multiple positions, which the Lakers really need. And I think this would make them. This is a more well-rounded trade, in my opinion, and it's also cheaper. You're not giving up both first, so you would still have a first-round pick. To if then let's say come the trade deadline, you're like, okay, let's move Russ for like another deal, well, then maybe now you could take Russ in the other first and then go do a deal at the trade deadline if you were to want to trade Russell Westbrook, right? And so you basically get Myles Turner and Alec Burks for 1 first and 2 seconds rather than 2 firsts that you would get for Buddy Hield and Myles Turner. And then you still have that first Russell Westbrook. You could bring in some other players, some other pieces. Maybe even then you do look to go trade Russell Westbrook, although I would personally rather keep Russell Westbrook. And like I said, bring in Mo Harkless and another piece, maybe bring up a guy from the G League or something, just because that would give you, like, again, at that point, if you do this deal, you basically are, 10, 11 guys deep. You're just looking for guys to kind of just be seat fillers at that point, right? Because you're not going to, especially come playoff time, you're not going to run 14 players in the playoffs, right? You're going to run probably 8 or 9. So, like, what are your best 8 or 9? Those are the guys you're going to play. And so if you look at it like that, you let's say your starting 5 again is Walker, Burks, LeBron, Davis, and Myles Turner, right? That's your 5. Your next bench unit would be, Russ, Schroeder, Austin Reeves, Troy Brown, Damian Jones, Winning Gabriel. That gives you another 6 guys right there that of production. That's 11 guys, right? Come, playoff time, Winning Gabriel probably doesn't get a bunch of burn. So now you got 10 guys and probably, maybe whoever, Troy Brown is the odd man out, something like that. And now you always have a big on the floor. You have a 3-and-D wing. You have all those things. Just gives you more flexibility, in my opinion. I think this deal, it's still not my favorite deal. I still actually like the Pistons deal with Boyan and Bay better than this. I also like the Hornets deal if you could get PJ Washington and Kelly Oubre. I kind of like that a little better. But this isn't bad. Like, if this happened tomorrow, I would be excited for it. I'd be jumping up and down. I'm not really big on taking Anthony Davis away from the basket and having Myles, because Myles Turner wants to play center and Anthony Davis wants to play power forward. If you go get Myles Turner, now you give Anthony Davis that out to go play power forward. And yeah, his shot is starting to come around, but you don't want Anthony Davis taking 5 threes a game. You want him to be down low in the post. And I know some people say, well, you could have, Myles Turner play the 5 on defense and and then Davis can play the 5 on offense. But you're kind of neutralizing the whole point of having 2 bigs, right, on offense. Because now Myles Turner just essentially becomes a spot up big. Like, you want to utilize your size. You want to utilize your advantages. Of course, you could pull one of them out here and there, but you want to have the guys down low to kind of like work together, stuff like that. I mean, you can make it work, absolutely. But, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you love this deal? Do you hate this deal? Is this a deal that you rank up there as one of the better deals? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between, let me know down in the comment section below.